So today we're out with the ELB 1200 on location. We're starting off in a foresty woodland area, and then we're going to visit another couple of different locations and use different modifiers to see what different effects we can get. The location we've chosen is a fallen tree trunk across a little stream. I'm not worried about the stream in this image, but what it does give me is the opportunity to get the model up a lot higher than me and make it look a lot more dominant in the picture. As I'm using medium format, I want my depth of field to be spot on. I've metered my light for f8. This gives me a much shallower depth of field than it does on a standard DSLR, but it enables me to get the background out of focus and stop it being too distracting in the image. So the first modifier we're going to use is Elinchrom'S high performance reflector, which will really enhance the dress, make it pop and get all of the sequins glistening on the dress. The deepness of the reflector allows us to throw the light a lot further at much lower powers on the pack. It also gives us a massive amount of control of where that light goes onto our subject. Remember, we're trying to illuminate the subject and not the entire picture. Okay, for the next shot, what I wanted to achieve was something a little bit different. We've got a lovely canopy of trees here where the sun is actually dappled through the leaves on the trees all over the ground. To give the impression that the sun is actually stronger and more prominent than it is in these woods, what I'm going to do is add an ELB 500 unit back over in the trees, up as high as I can, to give the impression that the sun is coming through those trees. We can use this backlight in two ways. We can use it just as it is, a backlight, to create a nice rim effect like you would see in the sun behind our model. The other option is to actually just catch the head behind the model's head to give some flare, giving the impression that actually the sun was there. It's like having your own portable sun. My key light is still the ELB 1200. We've got the big high performance reflector on, and we've feathered it across the model because I don't want too much light spilling onto the trees. I've dropped my shutter speed right the way down to about a 25th of a second, which I can hand hold. The flash is going to freeze the image. This allows me to create a lot more ambient light coming through the trees, but also give me a little bit of flare coming off that back head. The key to shooting with the second head pretending to be the sun is to use a very shallow depth of field. This throws everything in the background out of focus and gives the impression that the sun is actually there. Any greater depth of field will actually put the flash head in focus, therefore ruining the effect. Okay, for the second location today, we're on a beach. We've got really hard, unbroken sunshine, and what I want to do is match that light quality with my modifier. We're using the 70cm deep Octa from Elinchrom's, and we've taken both the covers off, so it's going to give me a very hard specular light, but it's also more focused and contrasty due to the depth of the softbox. On the Elinchrom's head, what you'll notice is the internal reflector actually maximises the shape of light we can produce with each different modifier that we have. Unlike other manufacturers' systems where the tube is set so far back in the head, any reflector or softbox you put on the front isn't made full potential of. The other thing you'll notice about every Elinchrom's head, be it a battery head or a studio head, is where our central umbrella shaft is. This enables us to use very short rods with silver, gold, translucent or frosted deflectors to bounce the light back into the modifier, making the most of the surface area. Balancing daylight with flash is actually quite straightforward. The first thing we need to do is find out what our ambient exposure is going to be. I've set my ISO to 100, I've set my shutter speed to 125th, which is the flash synchronization speed of my camera. My aperture it gave me was f11. All I now need to do is meter my light to match f11. To make the image a bit more interesting, we're now using an HS head or a high sync head plugged into our ELB 1200. This enables us to kill the ambient light and shoot up to shutter speeds on my camera of up to 4,000th of a second. On most DSLRs you can get up to 8,000th of a second, almost making the light behind us today nighttime. Even shooting at a 500th of a second outside with our flash enables us to make the sky a really deep blue colour, which is a lot more pleasing to the eye. For our third location, it's a lot later in the day. The sun is now behind the clouds and it's now become a lot more diffused and soft. Like we did earlier on the beach, we matched our light quality. I'm going to do exactly the same here with a much bigger softbox that gives us a lovely soft light quality. On the front of my strip softbox, I have a hooded diffuser. This actually sets the front of the softbox back slightly, which gives me a flag on the edges to enable me to control where my light goes in my image. Rather than shooting at my 125th of a second flash synchronization, what I've now done is slowed my shutter speed down. We're down to a 25th and a 30th of a second, just to enable us to record the ambient light around us and get some of the sun speckles that are actually dappling the walls around us. So there you have it, 4 different locations, 3 or 4 different looks with one head. We've used different modifiers going from hard specular light to soft matte light. It gives a real different feel to each picture we've done. I hope you found this video informative. If you need any more information at all, please visit elinchrom.com or your local dealer.